Baruch Hashem, we're doing Parashat Vayishlach. In the beginning of the parasha it says, Vayishlach Yaakov malachim lefanav, el Esav achiv, arza seir sede Edom. It's Yaakov Avinu. After 22 years that didn't see, right, his parents, he's hoping to come and see his parents. He's hoping to come and go back to his homeland, Eretz Israel. And he sends angels because he's not sure what is going to be the confrontation with his brother. Did his brother forget what he did to him? His brother wants to kill him, like the Torah says. So, Vayitzav otam lemor. He's sending the messengers, which are, Rashi says, the first Rashi says, Malachim mamash. The Midrash says, no man wanted to go to meet Esav. When he asked his servants, we asked people, could you go to Esav and ask him, what's the story? Are you gonna greet your brother? Are you gonna kill your brother? He said, no. You can send us anywhere, but not to him. So he had no choice to send Malachim mamash. Only real angels. And it says that Vayitzav otam lemor, and he told them to say, Ko tomru la'adoni Esav. This is what you should tell him. Ko amar avdecha Yaakov. This is what your servant Yaakov said. Im Lavan garti, I lived with Lavan till now. Vayechar adata, and that's why I delayed till now. And now I'm coming back. So now there's an interesting Rashi. Rashi says, Im Lavan garti. You know who I lived with those 20 years? 22 years, 20 years more. Im Lavan, his father-in-law, right? You know Lavan. You know type of a person he is, right? And I lived here with him 20 years. Okay, so what does he have to do with Esav, between his brother? What do they have to do? So Rashi says something interesting. Rashi says, Im Lavan garti, if you take the word garti, I lived with Lavan 20 years, you switch around the letters, you get otiot taryag. Taryag is the 613 mitzvot that you have in the Torah. Im Lavan garti, and I kept still the 613 mitzvot. Though he was a cheater, right? He cheated me twice with the weddings. He cheated me with paying when it came to pay, right? But I stayed an honest man. I did not cheat him back. I did not steal from him. I did not get upset on him. And I continued doing my mitzvot. 613, not 612, 613, right? And this is the message that Yaakov wants to give to Esav. Just before seeing him, right? I was always bothered. What do you mean? What do you mean? How do you understand this? You think Esav, when they're going to tell him, Im Lavan garti, they're not going to tell him if you take the letters garti and you switch. They're just going to say, he lived with Lavan, right? Was Esav so capable to take the letters and switch them around? They understand that means taryag. Well, what's the message? Means if this is the message, who are you talking to? Unless we say, yes, Esav had the head of Rosh Yeshiva. That's why his head is buried in Marat HaMachpelah together with Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, right? Just his body pulled them somewhere else. So when you talk to Esav, you're not talking to a regular person. You talk really to Rosh Yeshiva. He understands when Yaakov says Garti does not mean lived with. He understands it means Taryag Mitzvot Shamat. That's how I always explain to myself. That's what it means, right? But today I found, because his father said, Yitzchak said, when he asked for blessings after Yaakov took the blessing, he told him, I cannot give you a blessing because I gave all the blessing to your brother. But he told him, Vaya kasher tarid ufarakta ulo me'al tzavarecha. The day Yaakov is not going to watch the mitzvot, all the blessings are going to be transferred to you. So now Yaakov is telling Esav, I lived with Lavan, but I still kept the mitzvot. So the brachot are still mine. You cannot take it away from me. Right?
This is still today.
What?
This is still
Yeah, that's still today. But today I found a new pshat. Rav Galinsky has a new nice pshat. He says like this. It says, right after that, what happens? The two brothers meet, right? But before they meet, what does Yaakov do? He sends him a present. What does he send them? Animals, all kinds of animals. So the Torah specifies, right? All the animals he sent them. He says, he sent them, Izim 200, goats 200, Yashim, male goats 20, Rechelim, sheep, right? 200, rams 20, camels and their babies 30, parot, cows 40, oxes, bulls 10, right? Donkeys, right? Like 500, they say he sent them 580 animals as a present, right? All kinds of different animals, right? Why does the Torah say that? Why does the Torah say that? It says Rav Galinsky like this. He says, when Yaakov said, Im Lavan Garti, and Lavan Garti means 613, that's not a message for Esav. That's a message for us. To tell us, if you want to meet ever an Esav in your life, you should make sure that you accomplish mitzvot. Yaakov's message is not to his brother. Yaakov's message is to his children. You know what the message to the brother? The animals. All the animals that he's sending, that's the message. Which means what? Do you think Esav really cares that he kept mitzvot? Esav doesn't care about this. Give Esav something that he's really comfortable with, something that he really likes. What does he like? He's going to see all those animals. The first thing is ask, wow, who is it for? And the minute they tell him it's for you, oh, all of a sudden he softens. All of a sudden he runs to his brother and hugs him and kisses him. This is what he's interested. Says Rav Galinsky, in life, you have to know how to talk to people. And you have to know what each person is looking for, right? I saw once there was a rabbi, he said he passed by, in the street he passed by somewhere, a cafe, and there was two people sitting there. One was a shoemaker and the other one was a barber. As he passed by, he says, Shalom Aleichem, he saw right away. The shoemaker looked at the shoes, the barber looked at his head. Each one looks, does he need shoes? The other one does he need a haircut? People are looking for what's interesting them, right? Esav, give him money, give him bribery, give him animals, give him what he wants, right? He's not interested in mitzvot, 613. This is for us. Yaakov is trying to teach us. You know what's good for you? Torah, mitzvot, study. This is what's good for you. For him, it's something else. So in life, it's the same thing. They say, when you want to catch a fish, let's say you love cakes, cream cakes, whatever, right? You're not going to take a cake and put it on the bait because the fish doesn't care about cake. The fish wants a worm. A worm. Who eats a worm? No one eats a worm, right? Give him what he wants and then you catch him. This is how you're supposed to catch people, right? With what they like. They say there's a famous story about the Rambam. He was studying Torah, but at a certain point he needed Parnasa. He says, what am I going to do? In the olden days, there was no Kolel yet. In the time of the Rambam, there's no the idea of a Kolel. So the Rambam decided to be, Yeah, also, right? So the Rambam decides to become a doctor. He says, I'm going to try the medical field, right? So if he found a very specialized doctor, somebody's professor or something this, and he asked him, could he be his assistant? The person agreed. So the Rambam was there, and he's just watching what the professor does, what does he say to people, and this is how he learned his thing. After many years, this professor became very sick. What happened? So they diagnosed him, and they found out, as he was sleeping, a worm came through a nostril and went to his brain. And now the worm is in his brain, eating up his brain. So right away they had to operate the brain. So the Rambam, which was the student of this professor, he assisted at the operation. And he saw they made a hole in the scalp of the doctor. And he saw the doctor operating, taking pliers, wanting to pull out the worm. So he told him, I want to ask you a question. Do you know, you're gonna put the pliers, you're gonna touch very small veins, neurons, right? The damage, even if you succeed to take out the worm, the damage is going to be much greater. He might not be able to speak anymore or to walk anymore. You don't know what you're going to damage. So the professor says, listen, if I don't do that, he's going to die anyways. So it's better he be damaged a little bit, but alive. So the Rambam says, listen, if you give me a chance, I'm able to do it without damaging him. He says, how are you going to do it? He says, give me a few minutes. The Rambam went outside, got a green leaf from a tree. He got a green leaf from a tree, and he came back. He came back to the room. he put where they pierced the hole in the scalp, he put the leaf over there. He says, let's wait a few minutes. Right away, the worm smelled the green, fresh leaf. She went on top of it. They waited, she went completely, and then they pulled it out, and they just had to close the hole. And the guy healed completely. It was completely healed, right? The truth is, it's not a trick that he did. There's a Gemara like this. The Gemara is in Chulin that says exactly to do that when somebody has a worm. So the Rambam learned Shas, and he learned also medicine. So that's why, right? He knew exactly how to do it. So the Organinsky said, if you bring pliers and try to pull the worm, what do you think? She's going to let you just pull her up? Probably she's going to grab into one of the veins or one of the neurons or one of the, I don't know, whatever. And she's going to resist. And by you trying to pull her out, you're going to make damage, right? So bring something that's interesting to the worm, and she's going to come by herself. You don't have to pull, you don't have to do anything. Same thing. Bring something interesting to each person and let them come towards you, right? So I want to give you a few examples what I mean giving people what they like, right? So there is a Gemara like this in Tainus. The Gemara says the following thing. The Gemara says, the Gemara in Tainus usually speaks a lot about drought, dry years, there was no rain. And the Gemara says that Rav, one of the big Amoraim in Shas, right? Rav went one time, Rav Ikla Le'u Atra, he went to this place and there was no rain. Gazar Ta'anita. Rav decreed everybody should fast tomorrow. Everybody should fast tomorrow, so we should have rain, right? Velo ata mitra. And rain did not come yet. They fasted the whole day and it was still blue sky, no clouds, nothing, right? Nachit kamesh lichat tzibura. So Rav took somebody, he says, okay, you be, yes, who is usually the shliach tzibur, says this. So the brother shliach tzibur, Amar, the shliach tzibur said, Mashiva ruach v'nashav zika. As he said, Mashiva ruach, the shliach tzibur, they heard wind coming out, blowing outside. Then he says, Morida geshem, ata mitra. He says, Morida geshem, rain came down, right? So Amar le, mayu vadach. So Rav said, what exactly are you doing in life that Hashem listened to your prayer? Mashiva ruach morida geshem? I never saw such thing. Means somebody prays like this and boom, Hashem answers him. So Amar le, mikri darda keana. You know what I'm teaching? I'm teaching little kids in Cheder, 6 years old, 7 years old. And now, umakrina lebnei anye bebnei atire, v'chol man dolo efshar le lo shakil lamine midi. I teach the rich people's kids and the poor people's kids. I charge what I charge, but whoever cannot pay me, I do not ask him for money. If a poor man says he doesn't have to pay me tuition, I says you're off the hook. You don't have to pay. If you could pay, pay. If you don't, and then he told them, "V'itli pira de kavri." Rashi explains, I have a pound, and in the pound I have fish. And he says, "V'chol man de pasha meshachidna leminayu umesadrina le umfaisian le ad date v'kari." When I see a kid not learning, I'm telling him, you want a goldfish? So come learn, and if you'll be good today, I'll give you a goldfish. You know how many kids, they go to carnivals, they go to all kinds of things, they're so happy when they come home with a bag with the goldfish. This is not a new trick. This is a trick 2,000 years ago in the time of Rav, right? He says, "Meshachidna le." I would bribe the kids. I says, if you learn good today, you'll get a fish. And the kids knew we had a pound with fish. He was raising those fish, and every time he would need something, he would go take a fish, put it in a bag, and give the kid bring home. And it says till the kid ati vekari would come by himself to learn the next day, right? Chochma. The kid doesn't want to learn, so give him something he likes. Let him be hoping to get something so he can get, right? This is speaking about kids, but let's speak about big kids, us, ourselves, right? Old people. How do you bribe people? How do you, right? What do you do exactly? So there's an interesting Rambam in Pirush HaMishnayos on Sanhedrin. The Rambam in Perek Yud, there's a Mishnah that all of us know, and you ask anybody, I'm sure 90% of people know it. Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek לעולם הבא. שנאמר, ועמך כולם צדיקים, לעולם ירשו הארץ, נצר מתי יתפאר. Everybody has a chelek, has a part לעולם הבא, right? The Rambam explains this Mishnah. What does it mean, Kol Yisrael יש להם חלק לעולם הבא? What does it mean? So the Rambam in פירוש המשניות, on there, he says, ראיתי לדבר בכאן בעיקרים רבים באמונה גדולים ונכבדים עד מאוד. Over here, this is a passage that you have to speak about emuna. What does emuna mean? What does emuna mean? Says the Rambam, כי בעלי תורה, even people that study Torah, נחלקו דעותיהם בטובה שתגיע לאדם בעשיית המצוות שציוונו בהם השם יתברך על ידי משה רבנו עליו השלום. A lot of people have different opinions. What will be עולם הבא exactly? כל ישראל יש להם חלק לעולם הבא. What is עולם הבא? What is the next world? What to expect? What should we expect over there? He says, even the Bnei Torah, they have different ideas what's Olam Haba all about. And the Rambam, right? The Rambam gives 5 opinions. He says like this. He says that לפי השתנות שכליהם, according to what each one thinks, נשתבשו בהם הסברות, שיבוש גדול. According to the way people think, right? There's a lot of mistakes, right? The people think that's the right way, and really it's not. And he says like this, right? Kat Rishona. First group of people, they think היא סוברת כי הטובה הוא גן עדן. People think, you know why we put in tefillin every morning? You know why we keep Shabbat? You know why we eat kosher? You know why we do mitzvot? So many mitzvot, we're trying to give tzedakah. You know why? Because we are waiting to go to a place called Gan Eden. And we know Gan Eden, when Adam HaRishon over there, right, something that's unimaginable. And he says, כי הטובה הוא גן עדן, וחיו מקום, and this place, שאוכלים ושותים מבלי עמל הגוף. Over there you eat and you drink, and you don't get tired. You'll be like Dora Midbar. Dora Midbar used to eat and drink and not go to the bathroom, because they ate spiritual food. So basically we're waiting, some people are waiting, they're doing mitzvot, so they can get to Gan Eden, to be able to eat, drink, not get tired, not get stomach aches, not get headaches, not get poisoned, right? All these things, it's going to be a pleasure. Ubli yagia, and you don't have to work for your parnasa. You're going to sit there and eat, right? ושיש להם בתים מאבנים טובות. You know, they give you a house even. You go to Gan Eden, you get a house for free. You don't have to pay rent, you don't have to pay mortgage. In the house, the stones are jewels, gems, diamonds, all kinds of things, says the Rambam. And it says, mitot mutzaot bemeshi, you get beds. You come there, you don't have to go to IKEA, you buy a bed or whatever. You know, you get beds, everything. The house is furnished. And the furniture has meshi, has like silk. Next to your house, you have a big river, right? Ocean view or river view. Yain, you have wine, shmanim. That's what certain people think. This is all about Gan Eden. This is Gan Eden all about. This is what we're waiting for. Mashiach is going to come. When Mashiach is going to come, the world is going to stop. We're going to Gan Eden to eat and drink, not have any worries, not have any, problems in life. This is all about Gan Eden. And he says, and what's the bad part? The bad people, where did they go? They go to Gehenom. Bo'er esh, there's fire over there. ששורפים בו הגוויות, and they burn the people over there. ומצטערים שם בני אדם במיני צער והעינוי, יאריך סיפורם. And the Ram says, I don't have to go into the rest of the details, that the sufferance of those people going to Gehenam. והכת הזאת, and those people, the נועם הארצות, we're speaking of בני Torah. Those people, says the Rambam, no, זה נועם הארצות, no. מביאים ראיה על סברתם מדברי רבותינו ממקראות הכתוב שפשטם נאותים למה שהם אומרים. They even can bring you a raya to what they say. They can take a Navi, they can take the Torah, the Navi, they can take psukim in the Torah, in the Tanakh. They can bring you rayot from Shas to what they're saying. This is all about Gan Eden. So we're not talking about simple people. We're talking about Bnei Torah. And this is their idea of Gan Eden. Right. The Rambam says all of them are wrong. Kat shniya. What's the second group? תסבור ותחשוב, they think, שהטובה המייחלת לימות המשיח מהרה יגלה, ובאותו הזמן יהיו בני אדם כולם מלאכים. don't make a mistake. You're not going to stay a regular person with a body. No. The person becomes an angel. Olam haba, the next world, means your body turns into being an angel. Malachim, you become a malach. כן? וכולם חיים וקיימים, ויגביעו בקומתם, you're going to be very big, right? וירבו ויעצמו עד שיושיבו כל העולם לעד לעולם, ואותו משיח, כפי מחשבתם, יהיה בעזר השם יתברך, וכי באותם הימים תוציא הארץ בגדים הרוגים ולחם אפוי ודברים הרבה כאלה מן המנות. There's going to be a miraculous world with everything is going to be ready. You don't have to go to the bakery to buy bread. You plant seed of wheat, the wheat grows, bread, hot baguette inside. Right? The bread is ready, fruits on the tree ready to eat. Everything is ready. Even the cotton is going to grow close. Right? The wool is going to... So all you have to do, just take it, wear it, eat it, do whatever you want with it. You're begeder malach. You're an angel. Everything is on miracle. Everything is miraculous. There's no like the first group that we're still going to be man, eating and drink. No, we're going to maybe do certain things, but it's going to be everything by miracle. That's the kachniya. Right? And he says over here, umevi'im re'aya, and this group can bring you proof, mitzuim lachachamim u'baktuvim, from Shas, from Ktubim. They'll bring you proof for what's written in the Torah, on Chazal, right? That what they're saying is right. Kat shlishit, third group. תחשוב כי הטובה שנקווה, תחיית המתים, ושיחיה אדם אחר מותו, ויחזור עם קרוביו בני ביתו, ויאכל וישתה ולא ימות עוד. A group that means, say, no, you know what's going to be when Mashiach comes? Everybody is getting up. You have almost 6,000 years that the world existed. Everybody gets up. You look at the Ben Ish Chai, it's a machloket. But what do you mean if a person came down to earth 3 times, 2 times, 3 times, Gilgul, right, and reincarnation, so which of the bodies is going to get up? Some say the last body, which is the most mutukan. The Ben Ish Chai holds, no, all 3 bodies, the neshama is going to buy because all 3 bodies helped you to do mitzvot. Maybe the first one didn't complete it, the second one didn't complete it, but the third one did, but he needed the help of the first 2 ones. So the Ben Ish Chai says all of the bodies are going to get up, the neshama is going to divide 3 bodies. So imagine the million and trillions of people are going to wake up in the time of Mashiach, right? And they say, you're going to see all your relatives that passed away, ve'ochal ve'ishteh, you eat and drink like a normal person. What's Yemot HaMashiach? What's the time of Mashiach? No one dies. That's the Yemot HaMashiach. Shelo ve'lo yamut od. Okay? And the bad part, those that did not going to have merit, are the ones that didn't do Torah, didn't do mitzvot. They are the ones to die. For example, we're going to prove Shas. The Gemara says, whoever lends money with ribit, lo yakum b'tchiyat hametim. If you lend money with interest, you don't have a schus to get up when Mashiach comes. So those people are the punished people, the dead. The one that did mitzvot, get up, they live forever, they can see their grandfather, the great-great-great-great-great-great-great-father, right? All those things. And they're never going to die. Kat revi'it, 4th group, right? הכוונה שתגיע בעשיית המצוות היא מנוחת הגוף והשגות התאווה העולמית בעולם הזה, כמו שומן הארצות ונכסים רבים ורוב הבנים ובריאות הגוף והשלום והביטחון והיות המלך מישראל והיותנו שולטים על מי שיצר לנו. You know what's עולם הבא? According to the 4th group, everything is normal, everything is beautiful, everything is perfect, and now we are going to overcome those who did harm to us during all the generations. All those who killed the Jews, all those who tortured the Jews, all those are going to be their subject, they're going to be their slaves. And we are going to overcome the world. And it says over here, Briut Aguf, you're going to be healthy. There's no such thing as sicknesses anymore, right? And everything is going to be perfect. It's called a perfect world. Via Nekuda Nifla, that's the most beautiful thing is going to be, right? And eventually, the opposite is for the ones who would not do the mitzvot. Yafeh. Right? Let's jump. Right? So let's jump to what the Rambam says. Now, says the Rambam, eventually all those opinions are wrong. This is not the idea of Mashiach. This is not to have better life. That's the idea of Mashiach, means to be able to eat and drink and not to be sick and to have money as much as we want. This is not Mashiach. And he says, Sim bedatcha, I'll explain to you something. Okay? Says, take a small kid, Nar Katan, 6-7 years old. Bring him to a teacher, Lamed, Lelamdo Torah. Bring him to a teacher to learn Torah. V'zeh atov hagadol lo, and that's the best thing for him, to know Torah. We know that the best thing for a little kid is to know Torah. When he gets older, he should know the Torah. And now, he doesn't understand. Because he's a minor, he doesn't understand that's good for him, right? So, it's obligated that the melamed, the teacher, which is much more, how do you say, experienced than the little kid, שיזרז אותו על הלימוד בדברים שהם אהובים אצל הקטנות. ותן לך אגוזים. You know what the teacher should say? Oh, you want to learn today? No. I'll give you nuts. I'll give you candies. You want a candy? You want a lolly? Come sit and learn. Right? That's what the little kids understand. Meanwhile, he's going to study Torah, which is good for him. But you have to pull him. So you have to tell him, you have to make him hear something that he wants. Candy, for sure. Right? Candy, for sure. And he says, but as this kid grows, you're not going to take a 15-year-old kid and say, I'll give you a candy. Sometimes it works, but a normal person, sometimes you see old people, 50, 60 years old, they come to show for candies. So the brain didn't grow yet, they throw candies on bar mitzvah, they're the first ones to jump from the chair to go collect the candies with the little kids. So the Rambam was speaking about the first part. He says the older people, they're not going to be interested in candies anymore. So this older person, 15, 16, 17, I'll buy you a nice pair of shoes. I'll buy you a good pair of shoes. I'll buy you a new suit, right? I'll buy you something. Buy him and give him and bribe him with something that is interesting him. And as the person goes older, you'll offer him money. For every Mishnah you learn, I'll give you $1. I'll give you $10 if you finish, right? I'll give you $1,000 if you finish Shas, right? Right? Umishtadel, and he's going to try his best because he wants the mammon, right? Says the Rambam. But what's the tachlit? What's the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is what it says in Pirkei Avot. Evu leolam evu ka'avadim המשמשים את הרב שלא על מנת לקבל פרס. You understand the Torah is the best thing, right? So you have to understand that's not the bribery that's going to make you a better person, or that's not the bribery that's going to get you Olam Haba. Olam Haba is pure learning, without thinking with everything that comes with it. You're going to be like an angel, you're going to have a house, This is bribery. Really what we're waiting for is to be able to sit and learn in Olam Haba Torah Lishma, without anything around it, right? Says the Rambam, this is real Olam Haba, right? But it takes a lot of emunah. But the Rambam agrees, in order to get people to this level, you have to bribe them, right? So Esav, you have to bribe him with all kinds of animals, sheep and goats and right? Somebody else, you have to bribe him with candies, right? So this world is the world of bribery. Why? To get to the ultimate goal. But once you get on a certain level, right? So everybody, you saw when Rav Steinman passed away, right? And they make history of his life. You came to his house. Rav Steinman had a table which was all shaky, a chair, right, which is hardly holding on his 4 feet, right? He had a small bed, and his house was so tiny, like if you turn around from the chair, you're in bed, right? And he never wanted to change anything of this. They could have got him much more bigger house, right? He said, didn't want. Rav Chaim Kanievsky, right? Right? The one time they wanted to change the air conditioner in his house, right? So he said, no, I don't want. He says, why? He says, I don't need. I'm good. I'm not hot. You hot? Go. But he didn't feel. He says, when I'm learning, I don't think about it's hot, it's cold. It doesn't interest in me. They had something, I don't know, like a fan. He had a fan. Yeah, he had a fan. They want to put the air conditioner. Because those people don't think about those things. You know, in Israel, when it's hot, it's hot. You cannot learn. When you start sweating, and you cannot learn. But they didn't care, right? That's Olam Haba. So says Rav Galinsky also says, some people, they have a schus, they have a merit to have Olam Haba in this world. They already have the taste of the next world in this world. They don't care about nothing. They're not running after that. They already on Olam Haba over here, right? But says the Rambam, that's Dargot in Emunah. That's levels in Emunah. And we have to hope to get there, right? So we bribe ourselves. We have no choice. We have to bribe ourselves. You know, if I do this, I'll be able to get a bigger house. I can have my kids can play. My wife gonna happy. We always bribe ourselves. It's okay. The Rambam says there's 5 groups like this. There's 5 groups like this, right? Each one thinks about something else. But the ultimate goal is to be able to sit and learn. And that's why when you speak to Esav, Tariag mitzvot shamarti, it's not the Esav. You're speaking to the children of Yaakov. You should know the only thing can get you to high level is Tariag. Garti, I lived in this world, but Tariag mitzvot shamarti. Esav, you talk to them in a different way. But Hashem, we be zocheh to sit and learn, and Bat Hashem, Olam Haba really be Torah Lishma. Amen. Somebody has to say Kaddish. No.